All right, hello everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Rachel Klein, and I will be your presenter for the next 20 minutes. Today we are going to be talking about donations giving accounts. We're going to talk about how to add new accounts, how to get rid of old accounts or make them inactive. We're also going to go in and look at working with subtotals. So there is a subtotals feature in donations that you might not be aware of or you might not utilize, so we're going to take some time to look at that as well. Today's webinar, I'm following some pages from one of our Donations 101 workbooks. So if you have the Donations 101 workbook, you can follow along, or if you want to purchase one of our workbooks, you can definitely do that out at our website at churchwindows.com, or you can always call in and talk to one of the ladies and answer the phone. But we're going to be looking at pages 24 through 34. We do update our workbooks as new versions become available. So if it's not matching up exactly as far as your page numbers are for the workbook you're looking at, just reference the table of contents up at the front, and you should be able to find where the donations accounts section starts in Donations 101 workbook. All right, so as you can see on your screen, today we're going to be working in version 20.17.3. If you're not seeing that version, you can call us or email us at support and we can get you up to date. As long as you're on support, we can get you up to date on the most current version of Church Windows. It's always good to be up to date. Also, Kellyanne is listening in with me today. She's going to be here answering questions. So there's a lot of you and there's just two of us, so please be patient while she types in a response for you. Also, I ask that you keep your questions topical. If you have a really specific question or something that doesn't have anything to do with giving accounts, again, just call us or shoot us an email at support@churchwindows.com, and we're happy to get you an answer that way. All right, so let's jump into the topic at hand here. We're looking into donations giving accounts. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the donations module. So giving accounts are going to be the different designations, if you will, that people want their money to go to. So some examples of giving accounts would be like general fund, missions, youth trips, flowers, things like that. If you're new to the program, you can go in and create the giving accounts for whatever you need. If you are going to be converting from the contributions module, or if you already have, you'll know that whatever accounts you had in contributions, those have carried forward, and now you use them in the donations module. Okay. Now keep in mind too, we have another program called accounting. So if you use donations and the accounting modules together, you're able to enter giving into these donations giving accounts, set up a link over to your chart of accounts in accounting, and transfer that giving right over into the proper debits and credits over into the accounting side. So I'll touch on that here in a minute as well. All right, so once donations opens, there's actually two different places you can go to get to the information about your giving accounts. The easiest way, in my opinion, is right here in the middle. You have this Manage Accounts jar. If you click on that, that is going to open up your giving accounts screen. So this is going to show you over on the left-hand side all of your giving accounts that are currently active or the ones that you're using in the donations module. Okay. You can also get to this screen by going up to the top, clicking on Accounts and Pledges, and then you have the same icon, Manage Accounts. It takes you to the exact same screen. Okay, just have a little shortcut right in the middle for you. So like I said, all of your giving accounts are listed over here on the left. If you click the different column headers up here at the top, it's going to change how the accounts are sorted within this grid. So if you click the ID column header, it's going to sort them by the ID order. If you click the account name column header, it's then going to change your sort and sort it by account name. It's really up to you, whatever your personal preference is on how you want this screen sorted. There's also a search box here. If you have a specific giving account that you need to locate or find, you can type in the ID or part of the account name, and it'll then pull up a drop box, and it will quickly find the account that you're looking for and then highlight it down on the left. Okay. Now, let's look at some options we have over on the right. So the first tab we have over here is the Detail tab. This is where you're going to set the specifications for the giving account that you have selected over on the left-hand side of your screen. Okay, so if you already have existing accounts over here on the left, click to highlight it, and over here on the right, you can change the specs on this giving account. So lots of options. You can specify if you want this account to print on your donation statements or not. By having that box unchecked, any giving to that account is not going to show up when you go to run a donation statement report. You also have a checkbox here that says giving is tax deductible. If you uncheck this box, then any giving to this account will be marked as being non-tax deductible. So when you go print your donation statement, you have the ability to split out on the statement what giving is tax deductible and what giving is not. Version 21, which will be out here end of summer, early fall, will give you the ability to, what's the best way to explain it? We'll give you the ability to not define gifts as being tax deductible or non-tax deductible. It'll just print them as a whole without that definition. That's coming in version 21. But for now, for the giving accounts you currently have, you can specify if it's tax deductible or not by either checking or unchecking the box. You also have an inactive box here. This is very similar to how you handle people over in the membership module. You can make it inactive. So if you have a giving account that's no longer being used by the church, you want to hide it from reports, you want to hide it from showing up as an account people can give to when you're entering donations, then you can put a check mark in that box, and that'll then hide that account from showing up in the future. By making it inactive, you still have all the giving history is still intact. The giving that people gave to it is still there. It's just hiding it from being used from this point forward if that's something that you need. Place for comments, pretty self-explanatory. You also have a pledgeable account box. So if you ever have a giving account that you don't want people to be able to pledge to, simply uncheck that box. Now if you're a non-pledging church, you can go through and uncheck all those boxes, but if you're a non-pledging church, you don't really have to worry about it. It's not going to affect anything if you're not entering pledges. If you go in and uncheck that pledgeable account box when you create a new campaign or enter a pledge, that specific giving account just won't show as an option for you to pick from. Default pledge frequency. If you are a pledging church and you have your, say, flowers account highlighted over here on the left, and you only want, or the default you want people to pledge to is weekly, for example, you could set that. So all that's telling you is then when you go in to enter a pledge, when you create a campaign, or even if you go to the Pledges by Giver tab and you're picking this giving account, it's going to default to people having a weekly pledge. Of course, you can always change it. So if most of your people are weekly pledgers, it might save you a couple clicks to set it here to weekly, so it automatically pulls that up when you go to enter a pledge. All right. You also have a delete button down here. The delete button can be used if you create a giving account, need to get rid of it, and you have absolutely no activity to it at all. Okay, so this is even a couple years ago. If you have an account that has any giving on it, even if you entered a transaction, reversed it off, you cannot delete it. Okay, so if you hit delete and it tells you there's transactions, you can't get rid of it, then your option is going to be to make it inactive and just hide it. Okay, so delete only works if there's absolutely no transactions on the giving account. All right, so same thing down here. If you want to see your accounts that you've made inactive over the past, you check that inactive box. You can uncheck show active, and then it's going to show you accounts that you have made inactive. Okay, same thing. You want to see everything, check them both. You just want to see active, just have the show active box checked. All right. So that pretty much goes over the detail tab. Let's jump over here to the accounting links tab. So if you use the accounting module, you're going to want to set this up. Okay, so this is going to be the default debit and the default credit account that the account you have highlighted on the left is going to go to when you transfer it over into the accounting module. So I have flowers highlighted on the left. If I look to the right, my debit account, by default, my money is going to be put into my Huntington check account when I transfer it over into accounting. My credit account is going to be my flower income. All right, so if I enter a gift to flowers through enter donations and I go to transfer it over to accounting, it's going to automatically debit my Huntington Bank checking and credit my flower income. Now you can always change this before you transfer something over to accounting. All right, this is just your default. It's not set in stone, but it saves you a couple clicks by having it filled in here that you don't have to specify every time you do a transfer when a flower account was used. Okay. So this just kind of helps keep your books clean too, so you don't have to worry about filling in the debit and credit before every transfer, which makes a larger error for a mistake to happen. This will automatically put it in to those places you want the money to go to. All right, so that is the accounting links tab. Now while we're in here, I do want to show you up at the top. Let me grab my highlighter. We have a plus and a minus here. So if you want to add a new giving account, you can do that on the fly while you're entering donations. But you can also come in here through giving accounts and you can hit that little plus sign. And it's going to pull up a pretty basic screen. It's just going to be an add giving account screen. So at this point, you would need to specify or enter in an ID that's currently not in use. Let's do 111. Oh, down here, 111. And then let's do an account name, and we could call it like Youth Trips. You can hit Add Giving Account right now if you wanted to, or you could do the Show Details section, and you're going to see your Details tab and your Accounting Links tab where you can go ahead and fill this information in on the fly. Once you have it filled in, just hit Add Giving Account and then hit OK to close out of the screen, and then you'll have your new giving account set up. Pretty straightforward. All right, so that covers my giving accounts section here. Let me go ahead and close out of this window. And the next thing I want to show you is pretty handy. It's under Order Accounts. So back up here at the top under Accounts and Pledges, if you hit Order Accounts, it's going to take you to this little window. So this is going to be the screen that you will set the order you want the giving accounts to appear in when you're entering donations. So let me show you exactly what I mean. If I go into Enter Donations and I put in a date, we'll just do today. I have my distribution set to manual. And then when I come down here under account, the order that I see these giving accounts in, that is where I use that order account screen to specify. So if general fund, missions, and building are my top three most used or given to giving accounts, I'm going to want these up at the top. Okay, sometimes say Christmas rolls around and you have a specific giving account called Christmas, you could bump that up to the top. Like we could take 108 and put it higher in the list if we wanted to, because it's going to be utilized more in say November and December. You can definitely do that in that order account screen. So let's jump back over there. Oh, let me clear this out. Back up to Accounts and Pledges, Order Accounts. Here's my giving account order screen. Let's say I want to move Christmas up. Click to highlight it. Use this big chunky up arrow, and it's going to jump up higher in the list. Okay. So using this screen, just put your most given to accounts up at the top, and it'll help you with entering your donations a little bit faster. All right, so that covers the order giving account screen. The last thing we're going to go over is subtotals. So that's up here at the top as well under accounts and pledges. I'm going to hit this subtotals button here. So if you use accounting, this is set up exactly the same as how the subtotals works over in the accounting module, except we're using our giving accounts and donations. So you can create different subtotals to organize your giving accounts in whatever way you want. Okay, so if I go down here and I hit the Show Accounts button, it's going to then show me my giving accounts are going to have this little square next to them. My subtotals are going to have the arrow. Okay, so if I look under total annual giving, subtotal, these are the giving accounts that I'm going to have totaled as total annual giving. Now you can make as many subtotals as you want. You can also put a subtotal within a subtotal. So that's what's happening here. I have total annual giving, and under that I have total building fund giving. Now you can change these. If I don't want this to be part of total annual giving, I want it under total other accounts, I could simply click and hold on my total building fund giving subtotal. I could drag and I could drop it right down here under total other accounts. All right, you can also use this nice box over here. If you're not much of a drag and drop person, you can hit the down arrow and pick the subtotal you want it to go into. I say move subtotal, and if we look back over here on the left, we can see that it's jumped. To make a new subtotal, it's pretty straightforward. Let me go put this back. Just hit this Add New Subtotal button. You'll fill in your subtotal name over here on the right. I'm going to follow what the book has on page 31. I'm going to put rental giving. I want to have a header, and I want the header to say rental giving. And then if I just hit tab, look back over here to the left, I see I have a total rental giving over here. And then of course you can drag and drop it and move it to any specific subtotal that you want. All right, let me make sure I covered everything here. Oh, how to reorganize. This is important. So say you want to see your memorial giving listed up here, maybe between your annual giving and your holiday giving. You can definitely do that by clicking on the subtotal you're wanting to move and then hitting this up arrow here. You can see that it now has jumped up in the list. All right, so last thing I want to do is actually show you the report where you're going to see your subtotals broken out in. That is going to be your list account balances report. So if you go up to report/export, lists and labels, right here, list account balances. If I select that, you can pick the date range you're interested in. Let's just do January to January. Here's your columns tab. We'll move period activity over as well. Sort, I want it sorted by account ID. Detail tab, this is where you specify what subtotals you want printed on your list account balances report. I'm having everything checked. I'm going to go ahead and hit print. And I'll get my preview here. And it's going to show me my accounts listed with their period activity, their year-to-date balance, and then down here at the bottom it's going to give me my subtotal. And you can organize this report really any way you want. All right, looks like we are right at the 20-minute mark. So let me go look at questions here, see if I can help Kellyanne out with anything as she's trying to get those answered. If you have a question about anything I've covered at all, feel free to type that into the questions section on your GoToWebinar toolbar, and we'll get you an answer that way. If you have gotten the information that you were coming here to get, go ahead and leave. That's fine too. I'll sit tight here for a couple minutes and see if anything comes in. And again, this is getting recorded, okay? So keep in mind if you enjoyed the webinar, you think it might be beneficial for someone else to listen to, it's getting recorded and then it'll be put up on our website. It usually gets put up by end of week, so just keep checking at churchwindows.com for this recorded webinar. You can rewatch it for free as many times as you need to wherever you can get access to our website. We've got a couple questions coming in here. Linda's asking, can you merge accounts? Linda, you cannot take two different giving accounts and kind of smoosh them into one, if you will, or merge them together. There's not a way to do that. If you have an old account that you've decided you want to use a new account for, the only way to really change the account would be to do corrections on people's donations, and I'm not sure that would be a great approach. But Linda, call us and you can talk to a tech here and we can kind of discuss your situation if you have something specific that you're working through and see if we can come up with the best approach for you. Christy's asking, can you transfer any donations out of an account into another and then delete the account that now has no giving in it? Christy, you cannot. The reason being is because whenever you do a transfer, so if you have money on one person that went to a specific giving account, you correct it, put it on the same person but a different giving account, you still have reversing transactions. So those transactions never just disappear. That's for a good audit trail, safety for you really. So there's not a way to delete it if there were any transactions on that giving account at any time. Ruth's asking, when we enter a new account, it does not fall in order. Do we need to do it manually? You do, and that's where you come up to this order account screen that we talked about. Make sure you're coming in here and everything is set up the way that you want it to be. David's asking, is there a way to get balances for more than just the current year, say 2 years? David, give us a call. There's a couple different reports you might be able to manipulate to get the information that you're looking for. I'm not sure which one would be off the top of my head without talking to you a little bit further. But David, if this is something you're needing, please call us or email us at support and we can get a tech to work directly with you to get some answers for you. Ruth Ann is asking, if we delete an old account, can we use that number in the future? You can. So you cannot use an account ID that is currently already in use by another account, even if that account is inactive. But if you have an old account and you want to backspace out the account ID to make it available somewhere else, that option is there. Also, if you are able to delete an account, you can use the ID on another giving account, but you can't have two accounts with the same ID or the same name. All right, you guys are very welcome. I hope you learned something new today that'll help make your life a little bit easier. If you come up with any other questions after I close the room, call us, email us to support@churchwindows.com. We can get you an answer that way. Like I said, we're recording this and it'll be up on the website as soon as we can get it cleaned up and uploaded. I'm going to go ahead and close the room. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and thanks for attending.